Hello again, Fuzzies, and welcome back to Damaron's Kitchen. Episode 3. You voted on it, so we're making chili today. I hope that you all like chili. I like mushrooms, so I add a lot of mushrooms to my chili, so we'll call it Damaron's Mushroom Chili for the recipe today. It's because I'm a real fun guy. Oh, God, I kill me. Anyway, let's move on to the ingredients for my chili. For the recipe of this chili, you will need a large pot. Doesn't have to be this big. This is 12 quarts. That's very large for this recipe. Maybe an 8 to a 10 quart, even a 6 would probably work, depending on how much hamburger you use. You will need a skillet or a wok to cook your hamburger before you put it into your pot for the chili. And over here we've got a large onion, 2 to 3 pounds of ground hamburger, 2 chili packets, that's 1 packet for each pound of meat. I use red kidney beans, light red. You can use dark red or any kind that you want. And I don't drain these either, I just put them right in. I also put in sliced mushrooms because I love mushrooms. And then 3 or 4 cans of diced tomatoes. You'll notice that that is a staple item in a lot of my recipes. The reason why is the tomatoes add a lot of the flavor to the meals that I make, and why don't we turn this around? The tomatoes add a lot of flavor to the meals that I make, and when you're cooking with meats, the acids in the tomato help break down the meats so that they're more tender. So that's all I have to say about that. That's the ingredients. Let's move on. Hi, Fuzzies. Once again, I can't stress enough that during these times, even when we're not having quarantines and things like that going on, you should wash your paws. So, before I even start cooking any of these things, I am washing my paws. I'm probably going to be the only one eating this meal, and it'll last me a couple of days because I'm making such a large amount of chili, but still. You should wash your paws. That keeps everybody safe and everybody healthy, and they can enjoy your food without worrying about getting sick. This should be fun. All of my recipes are pretty easy. I try to make them as simple as possible so that everybody can cook them. Voila, washed paws. So the first step to your recipe is you're going to want to cook your ground meat. What I generally do is I'll throw it together in this skillet or wok and put it on medium to low heat and slowly cook it. Since it's frozen, I don't want to heat it up too quickly, otherwise it'll burn. The natural fats that are within the burger will eventually melt into the pot or the skillet so that it cooks with that. I don't need to add any oils or anything like that. If you want to cut the fat in your recipe, once you're done cooking your burger, you can rinse it with water and then flush it down your drain using hot water so that your drain does not get stuck. And that is the first step for making the chili. The next step that you're going to want to do after your hamburger is cooked and added to the pot is you want to dice up your onion and rinse your mushrooms so that they are clean before adding them to the pot. These other ingredients here, all of these 3 ingredients can be added to the pot as it's cooking. You don't need to do anything else but to open them, throw them in, and stir the pot. That way it's all combined while it's cooking. You can salt and pepper to taste once it's done. All right, now I have washed my counter space and I'm going to sanitize it next. This is the area I'm going to use to cut up my onion. I've already rinsed and washed my mushrooms, and I'm using Lysol disinfectant wipes, which kills viruses and bacteria. Sanitize that surface, people, especially when you're using meats and veggies and you have to pre-prep them before you cook them. Wash it first with hot soapy water and then dry it off, then sanitize it, and then it should be clean. That is 1 chopped onion. The next step is to cook your burger. Since it's frozen, it will take me a little while to get this, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to stir this around and keep pushing the meat off as it cooks until it's mostly done. Then I will add my onion to the skillet so that the onion cooks with the burger. Once that's all set, then I will add it to my pot. So as the meat starts to thaw, I try to separate it to the side so that this doesn't overcook, and I'll just keep flipping the frozen meat until I can get it all evenly cooking in the pan. So I'll flake off all the cooking meat so that the frozen pieces still touch the bottom of the pan and continue to cook. Once I can stir it all in a mass without any frozen blocks, then I will add my onion. Okay, almost all of the burger is thawed and getting to the point where I can cook it and start stirring it. I've moved my skillet over so that only the frozen meat is getting thawed and cooked. I don't want to overcook everything that's already thawed. See, this is already starting to break up now. Looking very good. I'm going to add my onions now. And the onions have been added. All I need to do now is continue to stir the burger until the burger is completely done and the onions are decently cooked. They don't have to be floppy or overcooked, just enough that the burger is done. Then you can add it to your pot and start making your chili. The idea behind pre-cooking your meat in the skillet is so that you know that you don't have any more raw meat left. So what you're looking for is no more pink or red in the ground meat. It has a chance of holding bacteria because it went through a grinder. So you want to thoroughly cook your meat so that you don't have a chance of bacteria being in your food. So I will continue to stir this and cook it until I have a nice thorough brown all the way through my meat. Okay, constantly stirring and moving the meat around in the wok, you can see I no longer have any more pink or red meat in there. We can now cut the flame under our skillet and start adding it to our pot to begin our chili. Before I move anything over to my pot, if you're interested in cutting the fat from this meal, this would be the time to take your skillet, move it over to the sink, and then run cold water over your meat and let it drain down the sink. Then run hot water into your sink so that the grease will drain properly. So first use hot water to get the temperature right. Then you can go down to cool water, rinse your meat, and then put it back on hot water so that it clears your drain. Now I'm going to add my meat to the pot because I like all the grease. I think that it adds extra flavor. So here we go. Okay, I've moved my ground meat and onions into the pot. I have it on a low simmer right now. The next step, and this is where everything gets a lot easier, I promise you. All you have to do is open your canned goods and add those ingredients to the pot. As you can see, I already have them all prepped. So let's go ahead and add these to the chili. It's a little difficult with my paws and I don't want to make a mess, so I'm going to do this out of camera. Okay, I have now added the diced tomatoes and the kidney beans. They're buried in there. Yeah, they are. Kidney beans and the meat. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to stir this up so that it's nice and combined in the pot. And then I have not added the McCormick packets yet for chili. You can get mild or you could get spicy. I go with original. I don't like things too spicy because I want everybody to be able to enjoy it. Obviously, this is a lot of chili. So if you wanted to half the recipe, you just use 2 cans of tomatoes, a smaller onion, and maybe 1 pound to 1.5 pounds of burger instead of 2 to 3 pounds. And then you'd obviously use 1 packet instead of 2. I always salt and pepper to taste, and if it's too thick, you can add a little bit of water to thin it out just a little bit. I don't like my chili to be too watery, so I kind of go with what I have, and then add a little bit of water if it seems like it's too thick. All right, moving on to the next step. Also, utilize your lid. This helps the chili cook more thoroughly and you lose less heat. Once this is stirred together, I will put my lid back on. Okay, I have now added my 2 packets of chili powder. You can also use free chili powder, like if it comes in its own spice container, but I like the packets. I find that it has everything I need. Okay, Just to improve on the consistency, I added 2 cups of water. The chili is still nice and thick, but now I'm able to combine the spices a little bit easier. At this point, now I just need to add the lid and let it heat back up till it's a rolling boil. And then the last ingredient you add and let cook is the mushrooms. I've increased my heat a little bit higher than low. We want it just below medium to around medium. That'll give it a chance to get up to a rolling boil. This will take a couple minutes, so I will be back. There's that nice rolling boil we are looking for. Now I'm going to add the mushrooms. Mushrooms have now been added. All I've got to do is stir them in and then let it simmer for another 10 to 15 minutes, and then it's done. This is looking really yummy. Once your chili is done, you can add any one of these as a good topper. Saltine crackers, you could break them up in your chili, or you could just get soup chili crackers. A little bit of sour cream never hurt, or a little bit of shredded cheese. I like all of them. I particularly use sour cream and cheese more than the crackers, but it's your choice. Well, Fuzzies, Damaron the Arctic Wolf here. Thank you again for joining me in Damaron's Kitchen, episode number 3, Damaron's Mushroom Chili. I'd like to give as much encouragement to everyone out there. I know this is a hard time for a lot of people. A shout out to Ken Cheese. I know that you were having a really hard time today. And then another shout out to Tony Hinshaw. Keep making your content, buddy. Just do what makes you happy, because whether or not people enjoy it, it's as long as you do, that's where the hearts start to come in. Keep up the creativity, every Fuzzy, and I hope you enjoyed my chili and any other content I've put out there. See you next time. I'll probably be making either chicken noodle soup or rigatoni pasta dish for my next Damaron's Kitchen. Take care now. Stay positive. Stay healthy. Wash your paws. Bye-bye.